Hello. This is day 15 of Advent of Cyber 2025. Today we are gonna solve a very exciting room all about forensics. We are gonna perform the job of a blue teamer and we are going to analyze our web server for potential attack attempts. So let's go onto the screen and see what we have for today. So today we are doing web attack forensics and the title here is Drone Alone. We are going to explore the web attack forensics. So let's go and see what we have in our introduction. It says that TBFC's Zone Scheduler Web UI is getting strange long HTTP requests that contain base64 chunks. That should not be like that. Splunk is raising an alert that says that Apache spawned an unusual process. On some endpoint, these requests cause the web server to execute shell code, so we will have to see what was really happening there. Today we are playing the role of a blue teamer and we are going to triage the incident, identify the compromised host, extract and decode the payload and determine the scope. What we are going to use for that, we are going to use Splunk. If you don't know what Splunk is, in TryHackMe rooms, if there is a dotted line under any term, when you click it, you will get a definition of what that term means. And if there is any room available to better understand the theory and practice it, you can see it from this button. And here we have, okay, we are going to use Splunk to pivot between web logs and host level telemetry. We have in web Apache. What is Apache? You can see the definition from here. And what is Sysman? You can see the definition from here. Sysman refers to the system monitor, which is a Windows system service developed by Microsoft that is designed to monitor and log various events happening within a Windows system. So basically, it's a system that logs the events happening in a Windows system and maintains a record for that so that we can have a look and see what was happening there. So this was the introduction. We have some learning objectives here that says that detect and analyze malicious web activity through Apache access and error log. We are going to investigate OS level attacker actions using sysmin data. We are going to identify and decode attacker payload. That's very interesting. We are going to reconstruct the full attack chain using Splunk for blue team investigation. So let's start solving the challenge. But for that, we will need a system. We will need a proper setup to perform all this activity in. But that is so easy for you on TryHackMe because TryHackMe gives attack box that you can start from just clicking a button and it will start in your browser. You do not need any additional equipment or devices. You can start the attack box and just by clicking this button we are going to start that right now, and while that's starting you can also start your target machine. It will take a few minutes and when it starts you will see the view in your split screen. If you don't prefer the split screen, you can convert it to a full screen using this button. You just click it and just by clicking a button you will get your attack box on full screen in a new tab. Once you get that, you can just exit the split view as we don't need it anymore. Let's go start solving. First of all, I have successfully started the attack box and target machine check. Now let's have a look to the actual task that we are going to do today. First of all, as we saw earlier that we are going to use Splunk today. So how do we connect to Splunk? You can just do that by copying this. You can connect to Splunk through this URL and this username and password given here. So let's go do that. You can just paste the link here and you will get a login dashboard. You can put your credential here and log in. Well, let's just quickly sign in. Once you sign in successfully, you are on your Splunk dashboard and you can see the events by searching for it. And let's explore some of the options that are available. First of all, we have a search box where we can search for specific events. We will put a query in here and that will give results accordingly. We have a time range here. We can select for what time range we want to see the event for. We have today, week to date, business week to date, and all of these options you can set it to all time or any time duration you want to see the results for. The results will be limited to that time duration only. We have set it to all time. In this task, we will follow elflog macblue who uses Splunk magic to unravel the attack path. So see what we have in here. First of all, we are going to detect the suspicious web command. We are going to detect the web access logs to see what was really happening. For that, we have a query here that may seem a very difficult line to understand, but bear with me. I'm gonna break it down so it's easy for you to understand. So let's start from the very first words. In the start, we have index equals to Windows underscore Apache underscore access. It means that we are searching within the logs of Windows Apache server access, the logs that are related to the web server access. What we are searching for in those logs, we are searching for events that have any of these terms: cmd.exe, PowerShell, PowerShell.exe, invoke dash expression. When we run this query, we will get any event that has even at least one of these terms because we are using the word or between all of these. Now we have a bar here. What this bar does is takes the output from this part and feeds that as an input to this part. What this part is doing is taking the output from here, arranging it into a table with details. What details? Time, host, client IP, URI path, URI query, and status. What is status? Status is web code status. Now that we understand the query, let's just copy it and paste it into our Splunk dashboard to see if we have any related event for it. We have our query here. Let's just hit enter to see what we get from here. Okay, so we have some results here. Let's take a look. First of all, we have this event here that shows that there was an attempt to execute this query that has this a weird chunk that looks like a base64 chunk. So let's try to decode it and see what's inside. For decoding, you can just copy it from here and use any base64 decoder. Here I am going to use base64decode.org. You can put your encoded string here, click the decode button, and you will get your decoded string right here. If you see a little closely, you can see that we have a very weird string. If you remove this question mark signs, then we have a sentence here. If you pay some attention, it says this is now mine and some evil laugh here. So there was really something going on around there. So let's see what we can find more about it. Now that we know that there was an attempt to run query with a base64 encoded chunk, let's see if we have something related to find in server-side errors log. So let's see, we are looking for server-side errors or command execution in Apache error log. In this step, we are expecting web server error logs, and for this we are going to use this query. Let's understand it by breaking it down. We are searching within the Windows Apache error logs, and what we are searching for? We are searching for any event that contains any of these terms. What term? cmd.exe, PowerShell, or internal server error. Let me explain why we are using these terms. We are using cmd.exe and PowerShell to see any event for any possible command injection attempt. We are using terms cmd.exe and PowerShell to see if there is any log for any possible command injection attempt, and we are using the internal server error because we want to see if there was a query that did not execute it because of an internal error. So let's search for the related events in our Splunk dashboard. For this, just copy the command here, copy the query here, paste it right here, and hit enter. In our results, you can see that we have some events here. Let's see, we have that same string here, base64 string, and the error was is not recognized as an external or internal command. That's a good sign that because the query the attacker tried to run was not executed and an error occurred, and the attacker tried to execute that using a vulnerable CGI script that is hello.bat. One more thing about the Splunk dashboard is that you can change the view using this button. We have some options available here. We have raw, list, and table. You can select any one that according to how you want to see your result. Now we know that someone tried to execute our base64 encoded query, but that was not executed because of an occurred error. Now let's see if that attempt reached our operating system or it remained blocked at the web level. For that, we are going to trace suspicious process creation from Apache. In this step, we are going to explore sysmon for other malicious executable files that the web server might have spawned. Spawn here means the execution and creation of a child process. For this purpose, we are going to use the following Splunk query, and the query is right here. Let's understand that we are searching within the logs of Windows sysmon, and what we are searching for any event that has a parent process of httpd.exe. This query will result in any event that contains a child process with a parent process of httpd.exe. Let's copy the query, paste it into our Splunk dashboard and see the relevant result. Okay, so we have our query here. Let's see the result. Okay, the results are messy. To better understand, we can change the view to a table. I have to zoom out a bit for a better view. So we have the following results, that if you see the image, that is the process. We have a process that is cmd.exe that was attempted to execute. So this is the strongest indicator of a successful command injection attack. So now we know that the web attack did not get blocked on the web server level, and it did penetrated to the operating system level. As the attacker reached the operating system level, so what any attacker does after a successful attack is checking the privileges, what to see what user account the script is running as. For that, they use a command who am I. So now we are going to search for events that include the execution of this command. We are confirming the attacker enumeration activity. We have this query. We will use this query for it. We are searching within the Windows system records for anything related to cmd.exe or who am I. We are going to copy the command, paste it into a Splunk dashboard, search for results, and we have some results here. We have these events here that indicate the execution of whoami.exe. So these confirm the attacker's post-exploitation reconnaissance and that show that the injected command was executed successfully. What we know till this moment is that there was an attempt to run a suspicious base64 query through the web server. We saw that in our internal error logs. Then we searched within our system logs to see if there is any indicator of a command line injection attack, and there was a strong indicator that told us that there was a command injection attack. And then we saw the post enumeration activity that confirms that the attacker ran the whoami command on our system to confirm the privileges he got. As we saw in our internal error logs, and that indicated base64 query was not executed. So now let's see if there is any log for base64 encoded PowerShell payload. We are identifying base64 encoded PowerShell payloads as that query was not executed at the web level. So now we are seeing if that got executed on our operating system level. We are using this query. We are searching within the records of Windows system. We are searching for events with the process of PowerShell.exe. We are searching for any event that has these terms in the command line. What terms? enc or in dash encoded command or base64. Now let me explain why we are searching for these terms. In PowerShell, when we want to execute an encoded command, we need to mention it before the command if that is encoded. Well, how do we do that? We write the string enc or dash encoded command followed by the encoded command to execute that successfully. That is why we are using these two terms and why we are using base64. If the attacker is trying to run a script through the PowerShell, that script can contain the terms base64 in any line or in any comment if that is encoded. We know that this query did not executed at the web level, so if our defenses are strong enough, there should also be a no sign of execution at the system level. You just copy the command here, paste into your Splunk dashboard, and this is the moment of truth. Let's hit enter and see if there is any relevant result that shows the execution of this. We wish to see none. So we see no results found. That's a success. That means that the base64 encoded string never ran on the web level or on the system level. So that was all for today's Zoom. What we did was analyze our web access log, web error logs for the suspicious command. Then we went a step deeper to see if there is any sign of execution on our system level, and on our system level we find that the encoded command never ran. That's the end of our forensics, but that's not the end of our room, as we have some questions left to answer. Let's go see what questions we have here. First of all, we have this says, what is reconnaissance executable file name? We saw in the attacker's post exploitation reconnaissance activity that there was a file named as whoami.exe that was executed. We saw in the attacker's post exploitation attempt that there was a file named as whoami.exe that was executed. So that can be our answer for this question. Let's try whoami.exe, hit enter, and yeah. That's our answer. Next is what executable did the attacker attempt to run through the command injection? In our initial steps, we saw that the attacker tried to run the encoded string through the web server, and what executable was used for that purpose? That is PowerShell.exe. So that can be our answer. Let's go try it. PowerShell.exe, hit enter. Yeah, that's our answer, and that was our doom. We did web forensics, we analyzed the web server logs, and then we went a step deeper to analyze the system logs to confirm the activity. This was such an exciting experience for me, and I hope that it was for you as well. This is the end of day 15, but this is not the end of Advent of Cyber, as there are in total 24 challenges available all the way from 1st of December to the 24th of December. So we have a lot more to go for. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, like, comment below what you liked the most about it. And don't forget that we have a lot of challenges remaining in this Advent of Cyber 2025. There is a link in my video description to this room and the TryHackMe Advent of Cyber page. If you go through that link, you can buy TryHackMe annual subscription on 30% off. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. There are 9 more challenges in the TryHackMe Advent of Cyber 2025 series. Keep playing them. Until then, goodbye.